Hey, it's the Not So Perfect Mom, Jeanette. This is a big call, but let me say, I give props to everybody that manages to do videos because my children have come in 3 different times and interrupted me twice knowing that I was recording and just having fun. And the third one, not a clue, just walks right in. But, back to my books. Okay, I promise I'm not going to just do book hauls on this channel. I really do have other content that I would like to make. But after doing my bookshelf tour last week before, I realized that I have gaps in my bookshelf that I want to fill. And so, of course, I stopped at a local used bookstore in our area where I know I love their books. And I picked up some classics that I'm missing, and I picked up a few other books, so I thought I would share them with you. I haven't read any of them. Well, okay, I have read some of them, but let's get started before I keep rambling and they interrupt me again, because it will happen. Alright, first I picked up A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by Joyce, which is a semi-autobiography of Stephen Dedalus. I haven't read this one, so I can't remember exactly what it's about, but I know it's been on my I need to read this list, so soon I will read it and I will find out what it's about. And then this is one of my favorite authors, Louisa Alcott. This is the Puffin Classics edition of 8 Cousins, which is the first in this series that she's done. And I read this as a elementary school student, but that was a long time ago, so I don't remember completely what it's about. But I want to read it and start that series and hopefully read it with my girls. Then I have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and I read this one as a teenager, and I remember loving it. I think all girls have just either really fallen in love with it or they hate it. But all I remember was it was a romance, and she was a orphaned child who grows up to be something better and falls in love and then falls out of love, or I don't know. It's on my list. And then I picked up Anne Bronte's The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. And I haven't actually read this one at all, but everybody on YouTube that does classic hauls raves and rants about this book. And it actually does sound interesting. I read the synopsis like 4 times to try to comprehend what it was. And the one thing said she's a widow, but then the back of the book says she's the estranged wife of a man, not so good man, and she's running away, and she goes to this Wildfell Hall, and the I guess landlord tries to get to know her and thinks she's, what's going on with her, but it sounds really interesting. And then I picked up Catch-22, and this is actually on my son's, who's 11th grade and homeschooled, reading list. Hopefully we'll get to it this year, maybe not, maybe next year. But Catch-22 is, all I can remember is it is about a American bomber in World War II and his kind of his experience with the war. And then I picked up some books by E.M. Forster. Is that how you say that? It's A Room with a View, and it was, let's see, I haven't read this one either. I haven't read anything by E.M. Forster that I can remember. And it's just about a pauper lady who's in Edwardian society who goes to someplace that's not so strict, and she's looking at how life is different where she's at in the book versus her own life. And that sounds pretty good. Let me move these down. And then I picked up Howard's End by E.M. Forster. These 2 are both the classics, Barnes & Noble Classic Edition. And this is the story of this house, mansion, whatever it is, Howard's Inn, and it's got to do with, yeah, that was a long pause. Let's just say it's about this house and what happens when, I guess, the owner dies, and agreed and social of the time. I will find out more when I actually read it. Okay, and that was the last of the classics. And then I picked up Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. I'm originally from Chicago, so every time I saw this book pop up and it was talking about it, had to do with the World's Fair in Chicago, and I would love to read it and see. And then I picked up, let me see, Lost in Time by Melissa de la Cruz, and this is the 6th book in the Blue Buds series. I can't remember how many there are, but I've read the first 5, and I have the little mini novellas on my reading list, but I think I'm going to read those on Kindle instead of actually purchasing the book for it. And I can't really tell you what that one's about without, you know, giving away the first 5. And then I seen Umberto Eco on Victoria's YouTube video page, Hermit's Progress. If you haven't checked her out, she has some lovely videos, and she really seemed to like this author, so I thought I would pick it up. And this is The Name of the Rose, and it's a mystery historical novel, and I don't know what it's completely about, but the part that got me on the back was where he says he collects evidence, deciphers secret symbols and coded manuscripts, and digs into the eerie labyrinth of the Abbey where the most interesting things happen at night. Yep, I'm sold. I want to read that. And I also picked up Baudolino. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but this book by Umberto Eco. And this one is 1204 in, let's see, Constantinople. If I mispronounce that, that was my English teacher here in the South, or my history teacher here in the South. It's all their fault. And this is just about this man, Baudolino, and how he works his way up through, from peasant to being sent to university in Paris, and all of the adventures that he goes on. Sorry, I'm not very good at synopsis yet, but I'm getting there, I hope. So anyway, this is all the books that I purchased this week, and then I knocked them all down. So, what books do you think I should add to my bookshelf? I know I have a few Charles Dickens left on my wish list that I'm looking for. I'm kind of picky. I want a certain edition of Charles Dickens that I saw, and I'm working on that one. But what else should I add to my shelves? Let me know in the comments below. Let's chat. And as always, have a blessed one.